Everyone, welcome back to the NFA Review channel. Today, we're going to review the Resilient Suppressors RS9. Now, I actually heard this for the first time last month during Suppress Fest 2023. I walked up to the line and a gentleman had just locked and loaded a KP9 with subsonic rounds with this suppressor on the end, and it literally stopped me in my tracks. I don't know if I recorded it on the Suppress Fest video you guys just saw the other day, but from what I could hear from an onlooker standpoint, it sounded amazing. You pretty much just heard the action noise on that KP9 and the bullet impact, of course, downrange. That was it. So I am actually really excited to shoot this today. Now, I'm not cool enough to own a KP9 yet. I'm going to change that soon. I need to find a good variant. If you guys know a decent KP9 kind of AK9 platform for me to pick up, please comment below. I'll have to pick one up and SBR it so I can give this can a permanent home on it. But today, we're gonna be shooting it, of course, on an MP5, a 300 blackout, and a lever gun. So stay tuned for that. Let's go ahead, kick things off here in the studio, get the specifications out of the way, all the boring stuff, and then we'll hit the range and see what it sounds like. All right, the KP9 comes in an overall length of 7 inches. It has, of course, 2 diameters, and they are 1.370 and 1.70. The weight comes in at 12.5 ounces, and it is constructed of 17.4 heat-treated stainless steel. Finish is going to be a satin black high-temperature Cerakote, and your firing schedule is a 9mm full auto rated with no minimum barrel length restrictions. And of course, you can also shoot 38 Special, 357 Magnum, subsonic 300 blackout, and 350 Legend. Now, retail price comes in at $8.99. I checked out Capital Armory's site. I believe it was $7.25. And then of course, if you watch this video, we have 5% off that. And then if you are a Gold member on Patreon, 10% is a discount you get through Capital Armory. They are a sponsor here on the channel, so that's pretty awesome. Now that we got all the boring specs out of the way, let's get to the nitty-gritty on what makes the suppressor so unique. Now, elephant in the room, obviously, is its shape, of course, throwback to the PBS-1. It's pretty cool. As you can see, the size is smaller, and that's because this is, mainly marketed towards 9mm. You're not going to be shooting 7.62 by 39 out of this anytime soon. Now, one of the main design features of the suppressor, aside from retro badass looks, is low back pressure. That is something that Resilient Suppressors wanted to engineer into this suppressor with their baffle stack design, and of course the contour of the tube itself. As you see here, you have a large blast chamber area, and I'll show you in a minute. They have a helical or spiral design of porting on their 1/2x28 mount that will aid in the distribution of gas the way they want it to stabilize it through the blast chamber and then through the baffle stack. But you have a large blast chamber here that essentially will lessen port pop while you're shooting. You're gonna not overrun your bolt carrier speed, so your firearm's not gonna be beaten battered. But something to take note here, typically when you uncork a suppressor to have a better shooting experience with lower or no back port pop, you will get a detrimental side effect of having a louder muzzle report. Now, I've heard this suppressor in person already, as I mentioned, at Suppress Fest, and it stopped me in my tracks. It sounded that good. All you heard was the literal mechanical action of the KP9. They were shooting it on with 9mm subsonic. So they didn't give up anything down here to improve it over here. So that was pretty cool. We'll start at the bottom mount area. As you guys can see here, I'll show you tight shot, the engraving, all the important information to house your serial number. This is where your tax stamp lives. That is safe at the very beginning of the suppressor. If you look at the exterior of the tube here, all your mounts, including 3-lug and other brands of, direct thread like we have here with the little extension that I'll show you inside. all pretty much stops about the halfway point here. So if you have a catastrophic failure, it's typically going to be from this point forward as the bullet actually strikes the first baffle face, which will be right around here. So if you have a catastrophic failure, send whatever is left over to Resilient, and I'm sure they can fix it. And of course, your $200 tax stamp is safe and sound. Now, that's not, of course, something that they invented. This has been going on for a very long time now, but it is nice to see that they utilized that smart thinking. Now, speaking of the rear area, we'll go ahead and remove this from the 1.375 by 24 universal hub interface. Thank you. So this is their half by 28 mount that I just referenced earlier. As you can see here, it has a little extension with 3 sections of spiral porting. Now, what that's going to do, of course, is to help distribute some of that gas pressure to the outside walls of the blast chamber before just barreling down the bore line of the suppressor baffle stack. So that's pretty cool. Now, you don't need to use that, of course. Off frame here, I have 2 mounts from YHM that we're going to be using today. A 5/8 by 24 for the 300 blackout, and then, of course, an internal 3-lug mount for the MP5. Speaking of the MP5, we're going to be using this full-size, full auto unit here. I did swap. I usually have a Surefire light on there. This is a Dakota Tactical M-Lock with a Surefire Scout with a Unity hot button on it. I run that when I need to run that gun suppressed because the Surefire system, the light is too close to the 3-lug and you can't mount a suppressor on it. It's very stupid. Surefire, if you're watching this ever, you need to just add a couple millimeters there with the light and we can mount suppressors to it and we won't have to do this, but whatever. Anyway, we're going to be running this setup on that today, and of course a 38 357 lever gun and a bolt action 300 blackout. So it's going to be a pretty fun day. So those are the mounts. Put those over here, and I'll show you some shots here, of course, of the blast chamber area. Pretty clean looking can. Now, by looking at the suppressor, it doesn't quite look user serviceable, though it is. It does not ship with any takedown tools. I just use a little pressure here, squeezed around the sides of the front cap, and you can unscrew the front cap from the tube. And looking down here, you will see the 17.4 heat-treated stainless steel baffle stack. Now, I'm not going to pull them all out here in the studio and make a big mess because I already did it earlier to film all these beautiful shots you're looking at right now. So they are notched for alignment, and there are multiple sizes. So you need to take note of what they look like when you remove it from the baffle stack the first time. But essentially, from the front cap forward, they are a shorter series baffle, and then they go medium, and then they go large. And you'll see that bell housing looking one for the transition area between these 2 parts of the tube. It's pretty cool, actually. That's pretty neat. So again, they are notched, so they lock in. And of course, when they are all together, they form their own tube, which will aid in removing them later for cleaning. Now, as far as removing them, of course, you'll want to remove your mounting device here. Just clean the blast chamber area with a brush, scrub it, and then you'll need to use some sort of dowel or device to kind of push the baffles out of the front of the suppressor. I just turned a screwdriver around and used the plastic part and tapped it a couple times, and they all fell out all over the table. But other than that, pretty self-explanatory. If you've been around suppressors for more than 5 minutes, you guys get the gist of that. Just throw the baffles in an ultrasonic cleaner with your favorite solvent, of course, put it back in the suppressor, and you're good to hit the range, which actually is exactly what we're about to do. Let's go ahead and get to it. Before we get shooting, a quick word from our sponsor, Capital Armory. They're the nation's largest silencer dealer and have expanded their silencer shipping ability to multiple states, with even more on the way. They can still ship directly to Texas residents, but they can now deliver silencers directly to your door for those in many other states. The process is simple and keeps everything in-house. So there are no additional dealers, transfer fees, or headaches. They manage the entire process from start to finish to make your life easier. The process is very simple. Once you purchase a silencer online through their website, you'll be contacted to begin your online customer profile to provide them with fingerprints and other necessary information
to complete your e-file Form 4. After the ATF approves your form, Capital Armory will initiate electronic transfer paperwork with you, and your silencer will be mailed directly to your front door. And the best part is, your customer profile only needs to be done once, so you'll be ready to go for all future orders. Head to capitalarmory.com today to learn more.
No gas to the face. Yes! Wowzers.
Hey everyone, hope you don't mind the organic format here. Just wanted to be a little bit more personable during the ending thoughts. So let's start things off with the MP5. First thing, Resilient is coming out with their own titanium 3-lug mount and titanium accessory line, actually. So stay tuned for that. They actually sent a prototype out. It's uncoated. Yours will be coated black. Work just like a 3-lug should. On the MP5, big takeaway. No blowback to the face. No first round pop. Sounded amazing. Hollywood quiet. If you can get past the retro AK-47 suppressor look on your MP5, definitely a good choice. You can always cover it up with a suppressor cover if that really bothers you. I don't really care. I care what it sounds like, and it sounded really good. Next up, lever gun. We were shooting 38 special, standard velocity, of course, remanufactured ammo from 2A Warehouse. It did really well. Of course, we're shooting from a closed breech, just like on a bolt action here. Of course, so we don't have any port pop, and you can hear that beautiful bullet flight through the air, and then the impact on the dirt berm that I'll show you in just a second. Sounded great. Not much else to comment there. Sounded amazing. 300 blackout. Man, you can really hear those rounds smash that dirt berm. And I did review the downrange footage already, and it sounded amazing. I think out of all of them, the MP5 sounded best. That had that Hollywood pew sound to it. I'll probably open this review with that, so like hook y'all to keep watching. So I reviewed it here on camera with just the headphones. I always check every shooting scene to make sure everything went right. Freaking airplanes and skydivers flying overhead every 5 minutes, but it did sound good from what I can hear out here. So just so you guys know, when I film those shooting sequences, I'm standing about here. The microphone is about 75 yards away, and then the berm is 25 yards behind me. Where is the berm here? All the targets are laying down. So if I'm the microphone and I'm shooting from there, those bullets, you guys can hear in flight, the rounds are flying past the microphone like this, and then they're impacting the dirt, just to give you guys an idea. Because I want you guys to experience everything, not just the muzzle report from when we shoot up close here, but I want you to hear the muzzle report with a delay, and then the bullet flight, and then sometimes you can hear the actual casings, like when I was shooting the MP5 up close, you can hear the casings landing in the grass. If that's an indication of what this thing's suppressing at, then you should probably take note. Again, no gash to the face, great tone, very loud, or very low tone, very low tone. Not much else to say. They're gonna have a line coming out soon with more accessories for the titanium mount. Of course, again, I told you earlier, it's gonna be coated black, probably black nitride, I would guess. And yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed the review. I'm definitely keeping this one. This one has a permanent home here. Now I have to go buy a freaking AK9 variant. There goes another $1,000. Damn it. But it needs it. It needs the proper host for the looks. I'm sure it's gonna sound just as great on that. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you guys shot any suppressors from Resilient at Suppress Fest, I would love to hear from you. Comment below on your findings when you guys tested them in person at Suppress Fest, if it lines up with what happened to me out here. Hopefully Resilient will come back out for Suppress Fest 2024. I would love to hear them again. Love those guys, innovative, awesome can. Nobody's doing one like that right now, especially for 9mm, and it's A+ for me. So again, don't take my word for it. Do your own research, watch other videos, read reviews, try to demo in person, like at Suppress Fest, or if your dealer has a demo can, try to get him to bring you out, him or her to bring you out. Try it out for yourself. I'm sure you'll find out exactly what I just did today. So hope you guys enjoyed the review. Click that subscribe button. We have a ton of videos to coming, and I'll be at SHOT Show soon. So if there's anything leaking that you want to see at SHOT Show, leave a comment below and I'll make sure to stop by their booth for you and cover it, do a booth interview at SHOT Show 2024. Until next time, I'll see you guys.